We are back again, ladies and gents, for Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics bounced back in Game 3 to make the series 2-1. I've got Joe Money Makar and I've got Nick Bam Boylan with me to discuss both teams, what went right, what went wrong. Let's start with you, Joe. What went wrong with the Miami Heat?
Well, with the Heat today, I think it was a little bit of inconsistencies on both the offensive and defensive end. So we see right before halftime, they seem to just give up easy looks. If you remember, they were starting to crack their way back into that game. And then right before halftime, Tatum and Brown kind of got on a roll. They got a bunch of easy looks in transition. What it just seemed like wide open dunk after wide open dunk. And if you're Spoelstra, if you're the Heat, if you're this versatile Heat team that's known for switching everything on defense, you need to know that getting back in transition is such a big key to winning playoff basketball, as is making your shots. So on top of the offensive game, the defensive inconsistencies this game definitely didn't help their case. There were some bright spots in there. If you notice, Tyler Hero has confidence for a rookie that I don't think I've seen in years. This kid is not afraid of taking a big shot. We've seen that through their wins, through their losses. He finished with 22 points today, 8 of 18 shooting, which is good for a rookie, especially in the playoff time. Yeah, I'd accept it. And he's inserting himself as an alpha in this group, and you got to love the confidence from the rookie. Another bright spot has been just the versatility of Adebayo, I would say. So Adebayo, obviously we know him as the Giannis stopper because he just did a phenomenal job. No one in the league is better at stopping Giannis. And you see it in this series too. Adebayo just knows where to be at the right time. He knows when to be on the glass. He knows when to crash, when to head back. And I feel like Adebayo's basically consistency on both offense and defense has been a big part of their success. And if the Heat can basically imitate that, they'll be just as important in Game 3 and maybe come back and take that 3-1 series lead. And if I'm the Heat, one last thing I'm looking to do is get Duncan Robinson more involved. I think we can all agree that Duncan is easily one of the top 5 best three-point shooters in this league. Absolute sniper. And I don't know about you guys, whether he's coming off of a screen, whether he's shooting, whether he's barely dipping his body to shoot the ball. Every time I see Duncan shoot, I think it's going to go in. So if I'm Spoelstra, I'm looking to get Duncan Robinson more involved next game.
Yeah, I remember looking on B-Ball Ref and hearing different stats, like 92% of his shots are from 3 throughout the season. And, he's an absolute marksman. I've got to give a Joe Harris shout out because he's a little bit better, let's put it that way. That is now 2 episodes in a row that I've shown some love to Joe Harris. Also, shout out to Cardia Elise Henry. Check her out on Instagram, ladies and gents. Tyler Hero is hitting goals on and off the court, no doubt about that. Hitting goals? I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Let's get to Nick Bam Boylan, who is a much smarter man. He's going to tell us a little bit about what went right for the Celts.
Well, Jack, I think probably the key right from the get-go for Boston was their aggressiveness and assertiveness on the offensive end. They weren't settling for jump shots. No one was playing any hero ball and settling into step-back contested jumpers.
I like that.
Exactly. They were interested only in really one thing, and that was getting to the rim. They had 50% shooting from the field in that first quarter, and there was one main driver behind it. We've talked about him all series long, and even before the series as well, Jaylen Brown. His aggressiveness was absolutely key in getting to the cup. He had 17 points at the half on 8 of 12 shooting, and he was getting involved in every aspect of the game. He had 5 rebounds at the half, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He set the tempo for Boston and really gave them the juice that they needed, which might have also come from a bit of galvanization after the little bit of the bust-up between Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown and some other Celtics post-game. Even the previous contest, that can either go one of 2 ways. It can either break a team or it can make a team. And it certainly looked like it helped Boston early because their energy and how engaged they were was really important. Another thing I think they also really did quite well, at least a lot better in this game, was attacking Miami's zone. That liveliness and activity was great with moving the ball really around the perimeter until they could get an angle where they could attack, whether it was Brown, Tatum, or Kemba, or the returning Gordon Hayward, who was another factor I thought. Fantastic to see him back on the court. Obviously, he's had his well-documented injury struggles over the last few years, and getting to see him playing some playoff basketball in the conference finals is awesome. Not only just his ability to put the ball in the basket, but his playmaking ability probably doesn't get enough love as it deserves. He was really key in sort of working out the gaps in that Miami zone defense, and it was a really big contributor for the Celtics. They almost had another late game collapse there. that the Demons were going to come back to bite them again, but they did enough late. Marcus Smart's fourth quarter was great in getting to the line. And yeah, Boston just did enough to get the win back and get on the board in this final series.
Yeah, a little bit of news revealed throughout the broadcast was that Gordon Hayward will be staying in the bubble despite the fact that his wife is reportedly due to have their fourth child within the coming weeks and days. So clearly, ball is life, ladies and gents, obviously. Ball over children? I don't know. Guys, give me a prediction for Game 4.
Joe, take it.
Okay, I'll start off. I think Boston is going to even the series. I think it'll be 2-2. I think Miami will come out firing as usual, but I think in this case, Boston does have the momentum, and I originally picked them to win the series, and for that reason, I'll say Boston evens it at 2 next game.
Nick?
I have to agree with Joe. I think Boston have started to work out the things they needed to work out. Another point I failed to mention was that Joe mentioned that Duncan Robinson wasn't getting involved as much, and probably one of the reasons is that he does get targeted on the defensive end of the floor. And if Boston can keep doing that, take his shooting off the floor and make that less of an impact, they keep attacking the zone, Jaylen Brown gets more aggressive, we're going to see this tied up at 2-2.
Interesting. We'll be certainly watching that. We'll be recapping it as well. Stay tuned for Game 2 of Denver Lakers. We'll be recapping that for you guys as well. These guys are very, very smart. I'll chime in with some super dumb comments, probably about Joe Harris. So stay tuned for that.